Oh yes. Discovering things I never even knew were there.
Thank you very much, Queen. Very, very beautiful. There is a public outdoor paddling pool. Welcome to Verdin Park.
Hello, and welcome to what is the third episode of Random Postcode Generator. It's the third episode in a series that I have come up with as a way to travel the United Kingdom, which I came to the realisation with COVID over the past 2 or 3 years, or however many fucking years it's been, that I haven't seen much of the country that I live in. So I thought, what better way to do that than to completely randomly generate something, no discrimination, just use a random postcode generator, click the button, wherever that lands, I'll find the closest city, town, area, whatever it's called, the bit, just, the small bit on the map that's the most prominent small bit. I go to that and see what's there, document the experience through this YouTube channel and this kind of little documentary series that I've managed to come up with. In the last episode, I went to a place called Odd Down. It was very eye-opening in the sense that when I was looking on the maps and I'd randomly generated it, I started to feel like, oh no, there's nothing here. I'm not going to be able to find anything. This is one of the problems with just randomly generating a postcode and going to random places. This is why people choose the top destinations to go to. It's why they go on TripAdvisor and type in best places to go in this particular area. It's not why they just go, let's go to here. But that's basically what I'm doing. So the reason that Odd Down was quite eye-opening in the fact that this is actually a really great thing to do is because it actually had lots going for it, lots going on, lots of interesting cultural stuff, lots of historical stuff. Everywhere seems to have a really impressive, really nice church I'm starting to find. And yeah, found out loads of really cool stuff, had a really good experience, saw some really good views, even though it was during an absolutely horrendous storm. I had a really, really good day. So just looking forward to carrying on that series and sharing more places with you, and you might see somewhere that is near to you that you recognise, or you might see all these crazy name places that you had no idea even existed, and you'll realise that there's actually something really cool to go see there, and it might inspire you to go there as well. So, without rambling on too long about what this series is about and where I went last time, I'm going to move on to the most vital part of this series, is actually generating the random postcode and see where we're going next. Nice. Alrighty then, we're on to the part where we randomly generate the postcode. As you can see, I am moving on up in the world again. Moving on up, moving on up, moving on up, nothing can stop here. So yeah, moving on up in the world by having a screen recorder. Without further ado, on the same website again, Random UK Postcode Generator. Got it set to 1, got it set to random. I'm going to do a bit of a shorter trip today. It's still going to be randomly generated, but just with within a shorter radius. Now, I know that these random postcode generators can do it by area, but it does reduce it quite a bit. So I feel like the best thing to do is to just keep generating, searching where I've generated and seeing if it's within a alright distance. So anyway, I'm going to get to generating some postcodes. going to do it dramatically every time and count down from 3, just in the hope that it will be one that's accessible for the next episode, so I can get the episode out on time and have it meet a certain time scale of delivering the episodes, trying to be a good creator for the audience there. So yeah, anyway, let's get to it. 3, 2, 1, generate. Oh, well, CW95EY is crew, and I already know that that's going to be quite close because I know where that is. So that's actually a really good start. Whether you believe it or not, that was the first randomly generated postcode. So I just didn't want to be disingenuous, so I thought I would share the fact that it's, in case people were like, he's not actually really randomly generating it and going to the places, he's just saying he is and then choosing where he goes. Still randomly generated, just closer. What's it called again? Maps. CW95EY. Always get paranoid that I'm going to forget a mixture of 6 letters and words, which wouldn't look great. Here we are. Ooh, we're near a river. We're near River Weaver, River Dane. Very nice. So this is where the postcode has taken us. It's put us right near Northwich. So that is where we are going, Northwich. Next thing I've got to do is make a bit of a plan for the day, and then I'll let you know what the plan is, and then we'll get going there and see what's going on in Northwich.
And it is trip day, the sun is shining, and Mildred is looking as beautiful as always. There's me. Fuck me, it is hot.
Okay, so it's trip day today. It's an absolutely gorgeous day today. Not like it was 2 weeks ago. I don't have to use the sat-nav today because I'm going to a place that is actually quite local to me. I do know it a little bit, but we're going to be going to a few places that I've actually never been to. I didn't realise were there either. So although this is a place that I go to quite a lot, I'm going to be discovering things I never even knew were there, which is kind of cool. Let's get driving. Oh yes, sounds glorious as always, Mildred. You never cease to amaze me. You'll never cease to amaze me, Mildred. I'm actually quite amazed at how it's the typical thing that happens in the UK, that it goes from being the most atrocious weather in the world to being just spring overnight, and this weekend's been absolutely incredible. It's making me really look forward to doing these trips now. It's just, everything's just much nicer when it's nice, without stating the obvious. I have planned out my day today. I've got the route completely planned. I'm going to try and do a little bit of an edit where I show the map and have a little thing happening. So basically it's going to cut to that if I actually can figure out how to do that post edit. If it doesn't, then I guess I'll just have to voice it over and do it a different way. So this is the wonderful town of Northwich. I'm going to start my trip at Verdin Park, that's just outside of the centre. After that I'll jump in Mildred and head on over to the River Dane and walk across Chinkers Field. After that I'll head over to Vickersway Park, and then I'll head up to Witton Cemetery and then on to St Helens Church. After all that and quite a bit of walking, I'll head into the town centre and head down the main strip of Northwich. I'll see what the main strip of Northwich has to offer and slowly make my way to Temple Bar, where I plan to have some food and a nice beverage to end off my day. One of the issues with Mildred is that she doesn't actually have air conditioning, so come summertime it is pretty fucking brutal. Okay, so after a very swift drive, we're at the first place, Verdin Park. Let's go check that out.
20p's, not too bad. Baggy kind of ruins it a bit. Welcome to Verdin Park. Dip. Okay. Oh, that's quite the hill. So this is Verdin Park. I think I'm going to do a loop around the park and see what it looks like and what we can find to commemorate the Platinum Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II. That's the extra long bank holiday this year. Thank you very much, Queen. We've got a statue here. Wonder who this bolly gentleman is.
This bolly gentleman is Robert Verdin. He was a salt manufacturer, philanthropist and the Liberal Unionist MP for Northwich from 1st of July 1886 to 25th of July 1887. As a philanthropist, Verdin gave the Victoria Infirmary, a small hospital located in Northwich, the Verdin Baths and Verdin Park. He unfortunately died before they opened, so this statue was erected in his memory in Verdin Park.
I am really starting to feel like I should have worn sun cream today with my fair ginger complexion. Might have to get some from the shops. So that is Verdin Park. Very, very beautiful. Especially on a lovely spring day. Something smells absolutely outrageously good. I think there's an Indian across the road and it smells like really charcoaly. It is gorgeous, but not as gorgeous as Mildred. There is a public outdoor paddling pool. Just realised me filming the paddling pool from outside the gates looks a bit weird, but as you could all see, there was no one actually there, but other people watching me film through the metal gates might have thought I looked a bit suspect. Lots of willows in this area. I think that's what they are. Let's have a look at this sign. Possible deep water. Likely to flood. Do not enter this area if floodwater is present. Noted.
flowing through Cheshire. The route of the Dane is followed as closely as possible by the Dane Valley Way, a 48-mile or 77-kilometre walking route from Buxton to Northwich.
Quack! Afternoon, Gary. I'd say this episode of a random postcode generator is going quite well, wouldn't you?
Oh yes, Philip, I'd say it was going quite well indeed. Yes.
Well, holy shit. There is mini golf. I assume free to use in this park. That is outrageously good. I am definitely going to have to come here with Donna and play some mini golf. Just need to actually get some golf clubs and a ball. So yeah, that's the next park. Quite a lot of cool parks in Northwich. We're going to be moving on to St Helens Church next to see what that's like. From a distance it looks like a castle, so I'm really looking forward to seeing that and seeing what history it's got attached to it. So, onwards! Here we are at the church grounds. We've got what looks to be like the mini church on the side as part of the entrance. I'll try and see exactly what the deal is with this building. That is very pretty.
They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. This was a poem by Robert Laurence Binyon, published in the Times newspaper on the 21st of September 1914. The poem was written in mid-September 1914, a few weeks after the outbreak of the First World War. The memorial this poem sits within is called Northwich Cross Memorial. It commemorates fallen local soldiers and civilians from the First and Second World Wars.
So we're at St Helens Church. It looks like a goddamn castle. I'm going to get a bit closer and explore the finer details.
Known as St Helens Witton, or Northwich Parish Church, try and say that 10 times in a row, this church sits in the centre of the town of Northwich and is a Grade 1 listed building. If you're thinking, what on earth is Grade 1 listed? What does that mean? What's the significance? Well, when a building is listed as Grade 1, this is because the site is of exceptional national, architectural or historical importance. It is actually really rare to find a Grade 1 listed building compared to a Grade 2 listed building, simply because of the significance that is placed on such sites. Examples of Grade 1 listed buildings includes Buckingham Palace, the Houses of Parliament and Tower Bridge, and only 2.5% of all listed buildings fall into the Grade 1 category, so it's quite special. This is a special church. The present building dates from the 14th century. It is still an active Anglican church.
So I've just finished looking at the two parks and the river and St Helens Church, and I think it's right about time to move on to Northwich Centre and grab myself a bit of grub and a half pint from one of the locals. Yeah, you do. Northwich has an absolutely beautiful town centre. Many buildings had to be replaced in the late 1800s due to subsidence caused by the salt mining. This was during a time when the black and white revival was happening, an architectural movement from the middle of the 19th century that reused the vernacular elements of the past, using timber framing and painted black and white. If you're after a night out in Northwich, you'll be happy to hear you'll be spoiled for choice. There are 11 bars and pubs in the main strip alone, and you have just as many choices to soak up the booze. But if you're not feeling a heavy one, you can just play some board games and have a coffee. Temple Bar is actually a fairly recent addition to Northwich, opening in September 2020. The owners previously ran a dance company known as Revolution Dance before the lockdowns unfortunately put a halt to all of that. They quoted to the Northwich Guardian, "It's probably not the best time to be buying restaurants." However, somehow thankfully they've managed to survive the past 2 years, meaning this quirky addition to Northwich Main Strip is here to stay. Well, I think it's time for a food review, don't you? I decided to go for the barbecue chicken, bacon and cheese sandwich on ciabatta bread. So when I go to most restaurants or pubs, I'll go for either a burger or some kind of sandwich. Maybe sometimes I'll branch out and get something with a little less bread, but they're the main things that I go for. So when this arrived, it looked absolutely amazing. Right up my street. Had to get a couple of sachets of tomato ketchup, of course, because I can't have anything without tomato ketchup. Took the first bite into it and it was incredibly crunchy, very nicely toasted. That's personally a big plus for me. I absolutely love it when sandwiches have really well toasted bread. I actually do this thing at home where I do one slice is toasted and one slice is bread. It gives you the best of both worlds, but you know, places just don't have that revolutionary tactic. So yeah, I feel like the barbecue flavour could have been a bit stronger. I do like to have very intense flavours, but overall it was an absolutely lovely sandwich. I'm gonna have to start some kind of sandwich/burger rating system. So this is going to be the first one, so it could change. Obviously, you have to have the thing that sets the bar. I would give this sandwich a solid 7.2 out of 10. So that was Northwich, and yet another episode of Random Postcode Generator. I genuinely had a really, really fantastic day that day. As I said many times in the episode, Northwich is actually quite a local town to me, and I've been there quite a lot. But going there with the intention of trying to discover a new place and see what's there, I've come across things that, again, I said many times in the episode, I never knew was there. It definitely gives you a different perspective on the places that you go to, especially when I come back and do a bit more of the research on everything that I've come across and I've seen on my trip. It gives you much more of an appreciation to the history and the culture behind the buildings, the parks that you walk through, and the establishments that you go to have a bit of food and a drink. Random Postcode Generator, the experiences I've had so far and how much fun I'm having doing this series is definitely going to be an ongoing series on this channel.
Now, where the fuck did I park? Here we are.
I know a certain someone who is going to be quite excited to see me. Hello, mate. Have you missed me? How are you? You all right there? Should we go for walkies? I think we should, shouldn't we? Yeah, walkies.